is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Over the past 4 days, the Indians ran roughshod over the Cincinnati Reds. Now they come to Boston to take on baseball's best offense. The Red Sox have been rough on Corey Kluber in the past, but he'll try to pitch the Tribe to a season-high 5th straight win. Next on Sports Time Ohio. From Fenway Park in Boston on an absolutely perfect May evening, the Cleveland Indians invade for a 3-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. These are the top 2 offenses in the American League. Boston number 1 in terms of runs scored. Cleveland right behind them there at number 2. Both teams come in hot, been swinging the bats extremely well of late, and both teams have tremendously talented young shortstops. Of course, you know Francisco Lindor for the Tribe, Xander Bogaerts for Boston.
Yeah, we're not talking about Correa in this because there's so many good young shortstops in baseball. We get to see Francisco Lindor every single day, and he's a treat to watch, but Boston has their own. Xander Bogaerts off to another great year right now. He's hit second in the league in batting average last year. He's back at it again. He's third. And when you look at the numbers, very similar from both these guys, you know, as far as 2-hit games and home runs and runs scored, and that's their job. And boy, they make their teams tick.
Jackie Bradley Jr., meanwhile, for Boston, is really on a roll. He's got a 24-game hitting streak, and now he's chasing DiMaggio. Not Joe DiMaggio, mind you, who has the baseball's all-time longest hit streak, but Dominic DiMaggio, who has Boston's best hitting streak at 34 games. And you look at the numbers he's put up on Arcia in the driver's seat.
Well, and the amazing thing, he's sitting down in the lineup around 7th, and he's continued 24 games. And once you get to that 3-week mark, that's something very special. He's got 10 more to go to tie the record for Boston, and he's going to go at it. In Kansas City the other day in Game 1, he got a single in his last at-bat against Wade Davis.
The pressure starts to mount with each game as we get closer to that 30-game hit streak mark for Jackie Bradley Jr. We'll be back with tonight's first pitch coming up, but first, Alan Jensen will rejoin us from the studio when we come back. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Fresh off their sweep of the Cincinnati Reds, the Indians find themselves tonight in Boston, Massachusetts to take on the Red Sox at Fenway Park on an absolutely spectacular evening. Temperature at game time will be 68 degrees, not a cloud in sight, as these two offensive juggernauts square off over the next 3 days. Let's go down to Andre Knott with more on the Indians' offense of late.
Well, the offense over the last 4 days has gone up percentage-wise, 12 points on the batting average. They're now fourth in on-base percentage. You can look at all the numbers. As you guys already said, they're second in the league in runs scored behind this team at the Boston Red Sox. But when you go in the clubhouse, the guys go, look, there was 4 good days. Now we have to find a way to continue that. We've got to be consistent. We've got to find a way to push guys across and take care of one another when we get on base. They like what they did the last 4 days, but they're not resting on their laurels because of what happened over the last 4 days.
No, and they're still chucking stuff at Andre as well from the Indians dugout. And hopefully that offense continues where they left off here against Boston. Terry Francona's starting lineup tonight is presented by Progressive. It will be Carlos Santana in the leadoff spot, followed by Jason Kipnis. Francisco Lindor, among the top hitters in the American League, will bat third. Mike Napoli, Jose Ramirez, Yan Gomes find themselves in the middle. Then it's Lonnie Chisenhall, Juan Uribe, and Rajai Davis will bat ninth.
And our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher is going to be Clay Buchholz for the Red Sox. His 9th start this year. 5 times in his first 8 starts, he's given up at least 5 runs, and he opened his first start in Cleveland. He went 4 innings, 6 hits, and 5 runs. He was 0-3 in the month of April, but he's 2-0 in the month of May, although he had a no decision in his last start, gave up 5 runs in 6 innings to the Houston Astros. We'll set the defense behind Buchholz tonight for the Red Sox. They are rated 5th in the league. They've made 19 errors. And it's going to be Swihart in left. It'll be Bradley in center. It'll be Betts over in right. Shaw at third. Bogarts at short. Pedroia is at second. Ramirez at first. Vasquez is doing the catching.
Chad Fairchild will call the balls and strikes. The crew chief, Jim Joyce, is at first base. Marvin Hudson at second. James Hoy down at third. And with that, we're ready to go as Carlos Santana heads to home plate. The Indians begin the night 21-17, second place in the Central Division, 2.5 games back of the White Sox. Boston in a virtual tie, but percentage points behind Baltimore for second place in the AL East. Clay Buchholz into the line, and here we go from Fenway. A first pitch strike to Carlos Santana.
Buchholz, a guy that's has been having some problems with his little 2-seam fastball. He likes to start at that front hip of left-handed hitters.
That missed inside to even it up.
He has given up 8 home runs already, Matt, and last year he only gave up 6 in 18 starts that he made because he went on the DL in July. He's already given up 2 more home runs, and this is only his 9th start.
Yeah, Santana way out in front on that 79-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch. Yeah, the runs have come in bunches at times against Clay Buchholz. 5 times already in his 8 starts he's given up 5 runs. There's a high drive deep to left. Back is Swihart looking up as high off the green monster. And as it bounds over the head of Swihart, Carlos Santana easily into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, and if you're a left-handed hitter, you don't have to worry about trying to drive it that way. He made a mistake by getting it upstairs, and you know, rarely do we see Santana go to left field, but look how easy that ball goes halfway up the monster. He gets him started off on the right foot. A double for Carlos, his 8th. So a very good start. That pitch was elevated, and left-handers can go off that wall very easily.
It'll bring up Jason Kipnis, who has very fond memories of Fenway Park. Kipnis was a rookie back in 2011. Hit his first major league home run at home against the Kansas City Royals, Danny Duffy, on July the 31st. and then came to Fenway and homered in the first 3 games he ever played here at Fenway Park.
I remember that.
I mean, that's a heck of a way to introduce yourself to the big leagues, huh?
Well, especially coming into this place. You know, it's not so easy for left-handers to hit homers here in right field.
Pulls it to first base. Hanley Ramirez will take it himself, but Kipnis gets the runner to third base. And with 1 out, it will bring up Francisco Lindor. Keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. For the Indians, offense, and how about scoring first when they do their 17-6? And for Corey Kluber, some early zeros will be very important. We'll have more on that when Kluber takes the hill in the bottom half of the inning.
This is a Boston team also that likes to score first. They've outscored their opponents in the first inning, so it would be nice to get on the board early if you're the Tribe.
Travis Shaw, even with the bag at third base, as Santana takes his lead in foul ground. And Francisco Lindor looks at a ball down low. There is not a park left in Major League Baseball in which we as announcers are as close to home plate as we are here at Fenway Park. We're a little bit raised, but we are right out over, almost on top of home plate here. It really is a unique perspective for us. 1-0 pitch. And Lindor had the string pulled on him.
Yes, he did. He started out there, you see, the old ballparks. There's Tom and Rosie right next to us. But it goes up, and the seats are right on the field. And
now the 1-1. Down low. Maybe Tiger Stadium, you were this close.
Tiger Stadium, you were way close.
But you were also lower.
Yeah.
You weren't this high.
Well, you remember, like the great Ernie Harwell needed the netting in front of it because you couldn't get out of the way of foul balls there. Much closer.
Lindor looks, it's up and away. Christian Vasquez doing the catching. Ryan Hannigan, the other Red Sox catcher. They called up Blake Swihart. He's in left field tonight. He's a catcher by trade, but they sent him back to AAA to work on playing the outfield. So even though they have 3 catchers, John Farrell told Swihart, you're not going to be catching unless it's an emergency situation. We're going to try to use you in left field and go from there. 3-1 pitch to Lindor, bounced in. A good block by Vasquez keeps Santana at third base. And Francisco Lindor with a 1-out walk.
Well, that's what I like, patience. That's something that they did very well, you know, with the Cincinnati Reds. They walked a lot. They had 24 walks in the 4-game series here. That's part of their offense. You know, he was preying on the aggressiveness of Lindor to try and get him to swing and get himself out with the man on third base. Take your walk, move it along, let Napoli have an opportunity.
Yeah, and Mike Napoli, the former Boston Red Sox. We'll take a hack here with 2 on and 1 out. And he swings and fouls it off. Napoli spent the 2013 and 14 seasons here and part of 2015 before the Red Sox dealt him to Texas last year. Napoli at 23 homers, drove in 92 when the Red Sox won it all in 2013. Followed that up with 17 homers and 55 runs batted in, and then last year got off to a slow start and never really got it going. But he rediscovered something when he went to Texas. Now finds himself here in Cleveland in the middle of the lineup. Taking a strike, it's 0-2.
Now we'll have to adjust, being down in the count. And this is a ballpark you don't want to make outs on the bases trying to steal or do certain things like that. You have to almost make it because it's a good offensive park. Buchholz's a guy that loves to throw to first base.
Napoli trying to battle from behind, 0-2. And he lifts one foul out of play.
Napoli a .326 hitter with runners in scoring position this year. 19 RBIs, 14 for 43. Buchholz, longest tenured Red Sox pitcher here in his 10th season.
Runner goes. Lindor takes off for, and now the throw comes home. And we got Santana in a rundown. Lindor's he should be on his way to third, but he didn't get there.
You know, that's what you get in. You get in the rundown. So I think Frankie had a chance to go to third base. He was unsure. But the minute they started chasing Santana back to the plate is when he should have been going to third base.
Santana
gave him an opportunity to do that. So look at when he was going back, now go. You gotta go. You gotta force him, but he just never got off second base and wasn't sure about it. So they get the out, the second out of the inning. But I guess you're still in the scoring position there, but that's where you wanted Napoli to follow you up and maybe end up on second base, but they didn't do it.
So 2 on, 2 out, and Jose Ramirez will be the batter as he tries to deliver, and he's been very good in these situations. Pitch is down and in, ball 1. Ramirez is batting overall .409 with runners in scoring position. But get this, he's 7 for 15 when there are 2 outs.
That's the toughest hit to get, is the 2-out base hit.
And that's all the strike. Ramirez not so sure, 1-1.
You know, that's one tough pitch too to get called, is the inside part of the plate. No, he did not. The first 2 innings are the innings you want to get Buchholz. That's where his ERA really soars. And then he has a tendency to settle down. Opposition hitting .381 the first time through the lineup. And he's got an ERA of over 10 in the first 2 innings.
Well, this will be his 20th pitch of the inning coming up here, and it's a 3-1 count now for Ramirez with Yan Gomes on deck as John Farrell looks on.
You know, and they know the numbers. Ramirez 2 for 3 in his career against Buchholz. Remain patient.
And he popped him up into the infield where Pedroia makes the grab, and the inning is over. So the Indians get a leadoff double, but they cannot convert. And the Red Sox are coming to bat when we come back. As we take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup, Mookie Betts will lead it off. Then it's Dustin Pedroia. Xander Bogaerts will hit third. David Ortiz, Hanley Ramirez, and Travis Shaw in the middle. All these guys hitting over 300 in this Boston lineup. Jackie Bradley Jr., Christian Vasquez, and Blake Swihart.
Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher, Corey Kluber. He will be making his 9th start of the year, coming off a couple of losses. Minnesota his last start, Houston before that. In his career, 1-3 against the Boston Red Sox. And this will be his 8th start.
Mookie Betts will lead off. And Corey Kluber misses, ball 1.
Corey's been awfully good against right-handers this year. They're hitting 190 against him.
It's a lineup that features 4 left-handed bats: Ortiz, Shaw, Bradley, and the switch hitter Swihart. Check, that was awfully close, but it's now they appeal, and Jim Joyce says no, he didn't go. 2-1. Base hit in the left field. He goes to the wall, and Ramirez's throw not in time. It's a leadoff double for Mookie Betts, who almost slid over the bag. And the Red Sox off and running.
Yeah, back come the Red Sox with their own leadoff double. That ball, Kluber had a lot of the plate, and this is a team that, the Red Sox have been playing very well here at home. Their last 9 games here in this ballpark, 6 or more runs, 11 or more hits.
Dustin Pedroia. Bunts it, gets the runner to third as Napoli will tag him out.
Let's check the Indians defense, brought to you by Jeep. Looks like this. It's going to be Ramirez in left, Davis in center, Chisenhall over in right, Uribe at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis at second, Napoli is at first, Gomes doing the catching.
Xander Bogaerts, his hitting streak pales in comparison to that of Jackie Bradley, but it is a career best 13-game tear for Bogaerts, who's gone 23 for 58.
Yeah, and he's hitting 25 of his last 27, so that's pretty consistent right there.
And Kluber gets ahead with a quick swing and a miss.
The same situation that they put Buchholz in, see if Kluber can pitch his way out of it.
Right back to him, but it goes off of his glove, and Lindor's only play is at first. So that cost him a run as the Mookie Betts comes home and Boston takes a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, the only way is if Kluber catches that ball, and that was hit pretty hard right at him. It deflects, and Lindor made a beautiful play just to get the out at first base and take a hit away from Bogaerts. But they do get the run home. The Red Sox have done a lot of damage early. That's 45. They've outscored their opposition 45-15 in the first inning.
Well, here is David Ortiz in his final season, and having a terrific farewell campaign. He was actually showing bunt, wasn't he?
Well, let him.
Well, he's homered in 6 of his last 12 games against the Indians. Each of the last 2, 4 out of the last 5. And then a good pitch from Kluber. Runs the count to 2-1.
This is the guy when we talk about, you know, all the lineups that you have, you don't want to beat you. He's still a very good clutch hitter at his age. And he has had a number of walk-offs for him already this year. I watched him one time beat Houston. He tied the game in the 9th and won it in the 11th. But you pitch around him and you still have some people to deal with. Tough lineup to pitch to.
So Ortiz takes the walk and Hanley Ramirez to the plate. Ortiz gives Napoli a big hug around the neck down at first base.
He's like Miguel Cabrera. They have fun playing the game of baseball. They're out there. They're always joking around. They take it serious, but they enjoy the game.
And then Kluber misses ball 1. This is a count against hitters, which has given him a lot of trouble early in the year. On a 1-0 count, hitters batting 9 for 17, including 3 doubles and a triple.
Yeah, well, they know how aggressive he likes to get ahead in the count, and that happens to a lot of pitchers.
And Ramirez was on it, but fouled it back.
You know, as many strikes as he likes to throw. If you miss with that first one, they know you're going to come back with something pretty good, so you better even be a little bit better with that second pitch if the first one's a ball.
And then when you get to the 1-1 count, not a lot of balls put in play, but when they are 5 for 9 with a home run against them.
As we said, this is how the game is changing, where pitchers, it's so important for them to get strike 1. But we're seeing offenses now get after that strike 1 pitch, and they're not waiting around any longer to just sit and make that pitcher work. If they see that first pitch strike, a lot of teams are getting after it.
The risk you run as a hitter is that if you don't get that first or second pitch and you fall behind the other way, 0-1, 0-2, it's almost impossible.
Well, it's a lot tougher for you because your zone expands then.
The 1-2. And Ramirez plugs it right up the middle. So Kluber gives up the 1-2 base hit, and the Red Sox keep the line moving, and it brings up Travis Shaw.
It goes to show you the kind of hitter Ramirez is. This ball is off the plate. He hit that ball around the trademark. That wasn't even a strike. And Kluber on the 1-2 count, that's how good this team can hit the baseball. Ramirez found a hole, took it right back up the middle. I don't know if he broke his bat. It may have. So they come out with a 2-out base hit. It's going to make Kluber continue to work.
To this point, Kluber's still throwing fewer pitches than Buchholz did in the top half of the inning, but he's already given up a run here in the bottom half. Travis Shaw taking a strike. Shaw has 15 hits in his last 39 at-bats.
Well, here's a guy that just always seems to kill the Indians since he came up to the big leagues last year.
He's hitting every game against them.
433 average and only 30 at-bats. He's 13 for 30. This year, he's 3 for 7. Just a modest 3 for 7.
He's played 8 games against the Indians. He's got a hit in every one of them.
And he uses the whole field. You know, you think you can pitch him away or sneak one away. Well, he can hit that wall in left field. He can turn on the baseball.
The 1-1. In the air to center field off the end of the bat. It'll be a tough play here. And it's Lindor who makes the over-the-shoulder running catch to end the inning.
I thought Davis was going to have to get it.
Well, Frankie gets him out of the jam, but the Red Sox strike first. They lead it 1-0.
At Bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Second inning here at Fenway Park. The Indians trailing 1-0. Yan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Juan Uribe due up for the Tribe. Clay Buchholz gave up a hit, walked the batter in the first, but was able to get out of it. And a first pitch curveball in for a strike. Boston has won 8 out of 11 to get to 25-16 on the year. Two quick strikes on Gomes. Out in front of it, pulls it foul into the Indians dugout.
Buchholz in his career making his 7th start against Cleveland. His record is 2-1 and an ERA 4.91.
And a foul right back. That was a good pitch to hit for Gomes, but just couldn't quite square it up. Another look at it. They want it away. It comes right back over the heart of the plate.
Well, that's what sometimes you can get away with when you're down in the count 0-2, because you want to protect for that slow curveball. It's about 75 or thereabouts. So you're in a protect mode more than you are being, very selective.
Missed off the plate. That's where he wanted it the previous pitch. This time he hits the spot.
Hits a spot for a ball, and he got away with one that was a strike. Yeah, that's the pitch you have to watch out.
Pops it up in a shallow left. Swihart makes the catch. One down. Well, for the Red Sox, if you want to talk about how good their offense is, and statistically it's the best in baseball right now, then you have to talk about the pitching, which is statistically average at best right now. Their starters ranked 9th in ERA. The bullpen's a little better than that, ranked 5th. But overall, top to bottom, the staff is 9th best in earned run average. And for John Farrell, the question is that good enough?
Well, when you're scoring, yes.
Yeah.
But when you get down to it and it comes down to I think a big game when you're facing tough pitchers that can handle the hitters, it may not be. I mean, Boston's a team, I think, like a lot of teams and like the Indians. When they score first, they're 16-8. But the Indians have even a better record. They're 17-6. So the key is get that lead early, and then they can be a little more aggressive offensively. They can turn it over to their bullpen. They have a good closer. A couple of veterans coming in late in the ball game.
What's got to be puzzling for pitching coach Carl Willis is that while Clay Buchholz has been and will continue to be probably enigmatic, you've got guys like David Price who they gave front of the rotation starter money to.
Right.
He hasn't been that good, but Rick Porcello has probably exceeded expectations.
He's been their best this year.
And Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, the former Indians farmhand, all of a sudden he's kind of put himself into a big role in the rotation.
Well, it's funny you say that because we won't see Price or Wright in this series. I'm thinking we'll see Kelly tomorrow. He's on the DL now, right? Where they have to bring him off, or
I believe that's what they'll have to do.
Yeah, they would do that. And Porcello will be Sunday. So this is, there you go.
Smash up the middle. Pedroia with a sliding stop, and he throws him out. Dustin Pedroia with a terrific play, going up the middle, made the stop, and then quickly to his feet. Knew he had time with Uribe running, and he one-hopped it right to Ramirez. Wave to the crowd here at Fenway as they salute him. Member of the World Championship team here in 2013. For a fan base that suffered for many, many years, from 1918 until Terry Francona arrived on the scene, they have made the most of their recent successes, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. You're right.
Jackie Bradley Jr. with that 24-game hitting streak drives one to deep center field and make it 25. And Boston takes a 2-0 lead.
Well, he did that in the second game of that doubleheader, the last game he played in Kansas City. He ended up the second game hitting a home run in his first at bat. He comes right back after an off day, and there's a ball middle of the plate by Kluber, and he golfs it to center field. And a solo home run, number 8, and he has a 25-game hitting streak right now.
That's an Indians fan making a catch on the Bradley home run. Fouled back by Christian Vasquez. So Boston leads it 2-0. Their leadoff men have scored both runs in the first 2 innings. A foul back by Vasquez. Wow. That looked like it had all kind of plate.
Well, take a look at it on our Nissan pitch tracker and see what you think. Yeah, inside. That home run by Bradley, though, you saw the stat, 20 consecutive games they have homered in.
Kluber gets his first strikeout, 1 down here in the second inning. And Blake Swihart takes a called strike. Big bouncer at first base, and Napoli will take it himself. With those 20 straight games that they've hit a home run in, that's the longest streak, I believe, now in Red Sox franchise history. It was tied for the longest coming in. But more importantly, Rick, Boston, you talk about a homer binge. They've hit 37 home runs in their last 24 games now.
Yeah, they've been on a roll. Chili Davis, their hitting coach. Remember him as a player, very good player for the Giants, Twins, the Angels, switch hitter. They're on a roll. I mean, they're first in batting average. They're coming in as a team 296, first in runs at 240, first in doubles and triples. They're 6th in home runs. That's number 50 for them now as a team. But boy, they find a way to hit the ball, put it in play, and on base percentage, just about everything. And also, by the way, they're second in stolen bases. They've stolen 31, only been caught 3 times.
And a base hit into left field. So Mookie Betts is 2 for 2. It's already 4 hits off Kluber, with 2 outs here in the second inning. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Red Sox lead the league in batting average, runs a game, doubles, triples, on base percentage.
Yeah, they're a high potent offense. You've got to do some kind of job to slow them down. And I think when you look at some of the pitches that Kluber's made, the ones that have gotten a lot of plate, they've hit very hard. They don't miss a lot of pitches. You know, this used to be a Red Sox team that would make you work. You know, they'd foul off pitches. You'd go to a lot to deep counts These guys get after it. These young hitters they have now. It's a little different style Red Sox team than they used to be.
One ball, one strike to count here on Dustin Pedroia. Surprisingly, the team that leads baseball and home runs is the Tampa Bay Rays.
You could win a lot of money on that bet, couldn't you?
Steven Souza Jr. is homered tonight for the Rays. They lead Detroit 3-0 in the second. I think that's 59 home runs for the Rays
now.
now.
You certainly wouldn't think that when you're talking about home run hitting teams. And when you talk about parks in the American League East, they probably have one of the tougher ones to hit it out of. There's a lot of good hitting parks in the American League East.
In the air, right field, shallow. Chisenhall in and makes the catch. Boston puts another one on the board. Jackie Bradley Jr. extends his hitting streak to 25 games, and Boston leads it 2-0.
Here as we go to the top of the third. Clay Buchholz going to face Davis, Santana, and Kipnis. They're having some fun out here in Fenway tonight. Clay Buchholz gave up the leadoff double back in the first inning and has breezed through it. And Davis takes the first pitch outside for a ball. He has been on a tear. In the last 4 days against the Cincinnati Reds, he has been doing it all. He beat it. He beat it down the line. I think he would have been safe anyway with that throw Bogarts tried to make. It pulled Ramirez off the base, and he will go sliding in there safe. See how the throw pulls Ramirez off, and yeah, he could have never tagged it. So they will give him a base hit on that ball. So the leadoff man aboard. When you're going good, you get things like that, don't you?
Yeah, and I tell you what, we've talked about it before. You always kind of cringe when you see a runner dive head first at first base. That's one time when you should.
Exactly. That's one of the few times where you can see that first baseman coming off the base. You've got to avoid that. So you're right. That's the time to go ahead and try. Now we've got a little different. They sent Shaw over to the hole between first and second, and I think that's when 2 strikes they only go over there. But we'll see. He was over there on the shift before a pitch was even thrown. Inside ball one. I think we'll see Shaw go over there with 2 strikes if it gets to that point for Santana, who doubled off the left field wall in his first at bat. Caught a fastball up and away from Clay Buchholz. And that throw over there, I think, becomes habit. He's already thrown over there about 5 times. And they've only had a couple of base runners. See if the Indians can cut into that 2-0 lead here. Although you have to pay attention to Rajai Davis, who has stolen 10 this year out of his 13 bases. Missed again. Good hitters count, 2-0. Now Shaw is jogging over to get between Ramirez at first, Pedroia at second in the hole. We see a few teams make the shift that way, where they send the third baseman over to the right side of the infield instead of just pulling the shortstop over. Good hitters count for Ramirez, or for Santana. Missed again. 3-0 count. He doesn't want much to do with Carlos Santana, although he has had his way with Buchholz in his career. With that hit coming back in the first, he is now 4 for 8 with a homer and 4 RBIs. I'm sure we'll see Carlos take one here.
Our great clip of the game from last night, Carlos Santana, he teed off against Cincinnati. A 2-run homer, and then a 2-run homer.
Yes, that's not a replay. Yeah, good night for Santana. And he's been on both times tonight. So Indians with something brewing here. First and second, nobody out. Kipnis did his job, got the runner over in the first inning, grounded to first base.
And Kipnis socks one deep down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is a 3-run homer for Jason Kipnis.
What is it about this ballpark?
He loves hitting Fenway.
He sure does. Listen to the fans, because they didn't get Buchholz in the first 2 innings, but it didn't take long here in the third.
Right down the line, just inside the pole, and the Indians lead it 3-2.
Boy, Jason Kipnis, his 6th home run, and Cleveland jumps up top now. And that was right down the line, but it was a no-doubter. It wasn't hooking around pesky pole. That one got out of here. Buchholz hoping it went foul. It did not. That's his 9th homer allowed this year.
Redbird says 6th home run for Kipnis here at Fenway. It's the most he's hit in any visiting park. If we get a chance to see that again, I want to know your thoughts on the pitch by Buchholz. Was it one of those sinkers that came back over the plate and Kipnis just jumped on it, or did he not want it to leak back over the plate?
I did not see it, the pitch. I just saw Kipnis put a really good swing, and I was hoping it stayed fair. Let's take a look. They want to go in. It's just right there.
It's just right down the middle.
He just missed his location.
Yep.
A 4-seamer. Look at him. He knew it as soon as he let it go. That wasn't inside. That was right down Broadway.
That was Fat City, and he clobbered it.
Well, that's hitters let you know. You make a mistake, and Kipnis wasted no time. So the good hustle by Rajai to get on base. And then the walk to Santana, and then the 3-run homer. That's the one thing you want to do. Crooked numbers. That was what they did to the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, and you mentioned it. That was part of the success formula. We focused on the runs and the hits, but there were a lot of walks.
That's right. And this team, believe me, when they play well, they walk a lot.
Lindor gets a piece of that pitch.
And it's not like being what they do. They trust the next guy in line. They go ahead. They're patient. I should say their patience remains. They don't try and get too aggressive and get greedy to try and drive everybody in.
Well, that's what happens when you get that, first 2 games of that series against Cincinnati, all 9 starters had at least 1 hit. You get everybody involved.
Yeah, that's when it's fun. That's what it's fun. That's what the Red Sox are doing. And in the streak that they've been in, and the Indians are doing the same thing.
Indians averaged 6 walks per game in their last 4, all against Cincinnati. 6. Already have 2 tonight. And Lindor watches one bounce in the dirt in the second walk of the inning, as the Boo Bird's already out here at Fenway, because Buchholz has not retired a batter, and that's going to send Carl Willis to the mound.
They know his history, the long ball. He's given up 9 now. And that's 3 more than he's given up all last year in his 17 starts. And you can see the Indians' numbers over the Cincinnati, that 4-game winning streak, 43 runs. And innings of 2 or more runs. 11 times they've had, a crooked number on the board. But to go with that was the 24 walks. So you're hitting, you're also walking, so there's constantly base runners. And they've been doing a nice job with runners in scoring position as well.
And all of a sudden, Clay Buchholz has made 45 pitches now after breezing through the 2nd inning. The Indians have put the pressure right back on him here in the 3rd.
I told you, to start the game in the first 2 innings is usually when he gets hit. His ERA is over 10, and then it comes down to a mere 340 after that. Well, the Indians got 3 on the board here in the 3rd, and they're not done yet without an out.
And Mike Napoli looks at a ball down low. Napoli seemed to be a guy tailor-made for this ballpark when he spent 2.5 years in a Red Sox uniform. Pepper that wall and left. Lindor takes off. Here's a throw, and a good one, but the ball skips away, and Lindor's going to go for 3rd.
He knocked it right out of the glove.
He sure did.
Pedroia, with his momentum going in, the throw was right there by Vasquez. It made a nice throw. But with the momentum, Lindor coming in head first, he's going to get the stolen base. It'll be an error, I'm sure, on the catcher, because the throw, took it up line, and he gets to 3rd base. So there you go. Apply the pressure.
That's one of those plays, though, Rick, where that is a fraction of an inch from being an out, and now it ends up an error.
Yeah. Well, you know what? For me, that should be a team error.
Yeah.
That should be a team error. Nobody should be,
penalized because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Infield in now for Napoli, except for the 3rd baseman Shaw, who plays back. And Nap fouls it back.
I don't know if baseball will ever do that, change it, but there's certain times where you can't. It's tough to give one guy an error where the ball goes off a runner. So one of these years they'll have a team error.
Well, there's the speed factor, though, that Lindor can create for Cleveland. And on the verge of getting another run home. If Napoli can find a way to get him home from 3rd. Pops it up, and it's out of play. Shaw taking a few steps back at 3rd. His thinking is, if Napoli hits one hard, he wants a couple extra steps, and it's not going to really hurt him. If he dribbles one, well, then
he's going to score anyway.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good outlook if you're a 3rd baseman with Napoli.
And Buchholz strikes him out. That is a huge first out for the Red Sox right-handed.
Well, it's going to be Sugardale Dollar Dog night when we return home. It'll be Friday, the 27th. The Indians will host Adam Jones and the Baltimore Orioles. They'll come in for a weekend series. Plus, fans can enjoy $2 Miller Lights from 5 to 7 in the right field district, and post-game fireworks to follow. Visit Indians.com for the tickets.
Infield still in. Jose Ramirez, the batter, and he pops one in the air to center field.
Should get it done.
Lindor tags. Bradley's got a good arm. The throw is in time. No, he calls him safe.
Look at Lindor's punt.
Safe is the call. It looked like Vasquez had the whole plate surrounded, and somehow Lindor got the hand in there before the tag. Torey Lovullo's on the phone. The Red Sox might want to challenge here, and now they say, nope, don't even bother.
You know why? We're behind the plate, and that's why it's tough to see when you're behind. He must have got his arm in, and Vasquez was behind the plate. Great throw. Look at. Yep, he never.
Wow.
Yes, that's a great call by the umpire. He waited and he saw everything. He's in perfect position, and again, here comes the arm from Lindor. He pulls it away. That is a great slide, folks. I mean to tell you, that was a great throw, great slide, and not much Vasquez could do.
And Jose Ramirez ends up with an RBI on that.
Yeah, he's the beneficiary.
Let me just say this too, though. I agree with everything you just said, but I don't ever want to see Lindor do that again unless it's a World Series Game 7.
Well, I know what you're saying there.
Man, that you just go headfirst into a catcher. Usually bad things happen.
Yeah, but you know, he was back far enough. That. I guess nowadays you can't block the plate like you used to be able to.
True.
Because if you come in head first, they used to bury you with their shin guards.
Yeah.
But you got to give him a little plate, and his momentum was carrying him back a little bit. Lindor always pulls that right hand back to, you know, take something away from the catcher. That was a beautiful slide. And I know what you're saying, because you can't get injured going head first at home plate.
I mean, it might not even be something that's intentional. Just out of instinct, the catcher drops that shin guard down on your hand, and then, boom,
Well,
you're out for.
I would do it
knows
if I was
how
a catcher. I would do it if I was a middle infielder and they come in going head first into second base on a stolen base or something like that.
Now the 1-2. And a sky-high pop-up on the infield. Hanley Ramirez makes the play as he almost ran over Dustin Pedroia in the process. The Indians come roaring right back. Jason Kipnis with a 3-run homer. And then Lindor steals a run on a brilliant slide, and it's 4-2 Cleveland. In the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, here's Corey Kluber now with a 4-2 lead, and he'll be facing 3, 4, and 5 in the Red Sox order: Bogarts, Ortiz, and Ramirez.
Well, this is where Corey's got to get better. In his last start against Minnesota, they gave him a 1-0 lead, and he instantly gave it right back a 2-run home run, if you remember, the rookie catcher for Minnesota. He's had 6 opportunities this year in shutdown innings. He's given up 5 runs, and 4 of them have been earned. So they really need a 0 on the board tonight.
One ball and 2 strikes. The count here on Xander Bogaerts, who picked up an RBI on a ball that he banged right back at Kluber his first time up. Almost chased after it. Got him. Second strikeout for Kluber. 1 down here in the 3rd.
Let's make this our Circle K strikeout. He makes him go fish. Expands the strike zone on the slider. You can see it down, starts at the knees, and then just breaks out of the strike zone. And Bogaerts couldn't hold up, so second strikeout and the big first out of the inning.
David Ortiz takes a fastball strike. That's a vicious hack, thank you. But that he came up empty. 0-2 the count as Ortiz, who walked his first time up, is in an unenviable position. Batters are 1 for 21 this year against Kluber when they're 0-2.
Well, he can, work a couple of pitches. See, Ortiz now, he feels he's a better hitter now at 40 than he was at 30, knowing he can hit, set up pitchers and knows what he wants to go after. Even though the bat speed may not be the same, but he's you just have to make quality pitches to continue to get him out.
Swung on and missed. Kluber got him swinging. 3rd strikeout, back-to-back Ks here in inning number 3.
What you're looking for, keep it rolling. He makes a nice slow breaking ball here. And there it is. You have him out front. That's an excellent pitch there, down below the strike zone. Corey Kluber midnight Navy jersey giveaway, and it'll be Saturday the 28th. Orioles in town. 12,500 fans get the jersey. Go to Indians.com.
Kind of a half swing by Hanley Ramirez. It's fouled back. And Corey Kluber feeling it here, gets quickly ahead of Hanley Ramirez. 0-2.
This is the kind of inning Kluber needs.
Napoli has a kick away. Can he recover in time? No.
Yeah, he couldn't get anything on the flip. Kluber was there. If Napoli could have got that ball, maybe he was falling down as he tried to flip it. Oh. Tough play. He didn't catch it. And it could have been a nice quick inning had he caught the ball. We'll see how they score it. But he does beat it out by the time that Kluber could get it. Well, Now they're on it. What's wrong with Ramirez? I don't know if he was going down the line too hard.
Seems to be okay.
They're going to give him a hit right there. Oh, that's funny. The scoreboard put up a hit, and I'm told it's an error on Napoli. Okay.
I'll wait.
Well, it is. No. Well, Mike told me it was an error, so I believe him.
Travis Shaw looks at a ball in the dirt. Ramirez runs for second, and Gomes will not pull the trigger. So now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
I don't know if this ball hit the dirt or not. I want to see.
Well, you won't see by that.
No, not that angle, but I'm thinking that just went off Gomes' glove. I wasn't sure.
Well, if anybody got a good look at it, the official score, he had to weigh in on it.
There we go. This is better. Okay, it did. It skipped right over the plate there, so that'll go as a wild pitch. Yeah, you got it. That's the angle I needed.
Well, now Travis Shaw, after it looked like the Red Sox were going to be retired quickly here in the inning, he's got a chance to tie the game up with one big swing of the bat, and he's got plenty of pop. He's got 6 home runs on the year. But Kluber got him to pop up on the infield his first time up. Broke his bat, and that is going to be in the crowd. And oh, that got onto the field.
Well, the Red Sox are going to get an extra out in this inning, and hopefully you can keep them off the board. You don't like to give up free runs in this baseball park. Could have been an easy 1-2-3 inning outside of the Napoli error. Then a wild pitch. You don't want to give them a gift. They're too good of a team.
Each team with an error so far tonight. Good emergency swing by Shaw to stay alive. And now the 2-2. Full count. Shaw weakly taps it to second base, and Jason Kipnis will take care of that to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 man left. Corey Kluber fans a pair, and after 3, it's Cleveland 4, Boston 2.
tomorrow, my friend.
That's right.
It will be tomorrow.
We won't see it tomorrow, though, will we? Because
Yes,
7
we will.
o'clock game.
We'll see it.
Or 4 o'clock game. It'll be done by 7.
Well, I'm going to the top of the hotel.
Hey, grab your friends and grab a $13 district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio, and your first drink is on us, but it's only available at Indians.com/district ticket.
That doesn't make it any difference. You thought it was full last night in Cincinnati,
like
and it's going to look just as good tonight.
That's right.
But the official
is tomorrow night.
Right.
No signs of the move. Must be behind us tonight. There. Well, it's right there.
Bingo. That was behind you.
Lonnie Chisenhall taking a called strike. He flied to left his only time up. Missed inside. 2 balls and a strike.
You can see how, there you go. There's a little help out the right field bleachers.
Oh, okay.
See?
So
yeah. Oh, wait. That's third base. There's Sarb. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I got it.
Lonnie fouls it off.
We'll see it on the walk home tonight.
Going to howl at the moon a little bit?
Yes, we will. It's Friday. We're staying out all night.
Once upon a time, maybe. Hey, really interesting story coming out. Major League Baseball's owners meetings taking place this week. And according to one internet report, sources say that they have agreed to changing the strike zone and eliminating the intentional walk. You just say 4 and the guy automatically goes to first.
Well, they really want to quicken the game, don't they?
He wouldn't have to throw the 4 obligatory pitches. He would just automatically get first base. But the interesting thing is the change to the strike zone. What they want to do, they think umpires are starting to call too many pitches below the kneecap, too many low strikes. So they want to raise the strike zone. Just it's a technicality more than anything to the top of the kneecap.
Yeah.
Top of the kneecap.
Boy, good luck there.
I mean, that's.
Umps have enough trouble.
We don't need to shrink the strike zone anymore, do we?
Well, then if you're gonna change the strike zone, then you raise it up to the belt too. If you're gonna bring it up down below the knees, because we've talked about it, that we think they are raising it already. I do. I've seen some good low pitches that weren't called strikes in a number of games this year that are down that I'm used to seeing called strikes.
I would say it varies umpire to umpire. I think some guys are giving you.
Bingo. That's not, you're going to tell them, okay, now you get it up. To me, that's going to make the strike zone smaller.
That's what we don't need, I think.
Right. Make it bigger. That's how games will move.
Rob Manfred believes that this will produce more balls in play. Again, remember, Rob Manfred, it's not about pace of the game, it's about pace of action.
Right.
He wants more action. More balls in play equals
well,
more
that'll
action.
put more balls in play because that'll shrink the strike zone, in my opinion. Just thinking about it right now.
That's what he wants.
I don't think pitchers are going to be happy about
Probably
that.
not. Lonnie Chisenhall out looking. Second strikeout for Buchholz. Injury report tonight brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Brock Holt on the concussion DL, which is why you've got Swihart playing out in left field. Carson Smith, a good pitcher, but he has an elbow tenderness issue. Joe Kelly is expected to make the start tomorrow. And Juan Uribe smacks one right up the middle.
He's going to say, catch that one. Because Pedroia took him from a base hit in his first at-bat on a beautiful play at second base. Well, he's going to the other side of the infield and right back up the middle. That ball was right down the middle. And a nice swing, gets it through there. Base knock for Uribe. They get number 4 now for the Tribe.
Yeah, now Rajay Davis, who started the Indians' 4-run third when he reached on an infield single.
Now we'll keep an eye on Buchholz. If he throws to first base now, you really know it's habit. with your rebound first.
Yeah. Juan has not attempted a stolen base.
Probably how many years?
Let me take a look. I'm not even sure. And Rajay checks. It's a little bit low. No stolen bags with the Mets. He had one each with the Braves and Dodgers last year. None the year before that. 5 in 2013, none in 2012. He's on an every other year program.
Okay.
And since he had 2 last year, I'm guessing probably we won't see one this year.
No, Big Poppy's not going anywhere.
And Rajay fouling it back.
It was last night when he had 1 foot on second base and Brandon Phillips came over and tagged him on the backside. He thought he had the baseball. He wasn't paying attention.
His reaction, though, is what made it priceless.
Yeah, it was priceless. Exactly. He had a little smirk on his face.
The 1-2 pitch.
Hit him.
I guess it got him on the hand.
He started to swing.
I thought it hit the bat, and there comes John Farrell.
You know, he started to swing at it, and you could
went,
tell it was
around.
painful. That's what they were going to ask.
No.
Oh yeah, that would be strike 3, unless it's part of the bat. And he never catcher didn't catch it, right? It got through.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you know.
Wait a minute.
It's a good point, because if anything, it's a foul ball, right?
Your hand's part of the bat, I guess, but then they'll say swing. Let's see here. You can tell it hit because he was jumping in pain as soon as I know he started to swing. But I think he'll still be at the plate. It did. It went right off his knuckle. Your hand's part of the bat. Looked like it right off the right hand. Home plate umpire says go ahead, it hit you in the hand, and now Jim Joyce is explaining it to Terry. This is going to be a painful at bat for Rajai.
So he's got to come back, get his bat.
Yeah, you got to put it back on. It's a foul ball.
Yep.
And a painful one at that.
Now the umpires are all getting together.
All right, that's what they're calling the count. He says the first ball, they're reminiscing the count.
Oh.
Instead of being 2 strikes, they're going to say he's out, I think. Because what was the count? 1-2? It was a 1-2 count.
So it's just a foul ball.
Well, look at Johnny's perched. He's ready to jump. You would think, I would think so. Look at now, everybody's involved. Every umpire.
Unless they're saying it's not a foul ball, he swung at a pitch that just hit him.
That could be.
Then he's out. I guess the call on the field was it hit him and it wasn't a foul ball, so in that case he would be out, wouldn't he?
Well, we won't get an explanation until after the game.
Look at it like this, Rick. If you swing and miss at a pitch that hits you in the leg, you're out.
Right.
So this essentially would be no different if they're saying that it was simply a hit by pitch.
See, now you see he's asking the home plate umpire right now for his explanation, and Tito's getting explained to by all the other umpires. Rajay's right there. He's listening. He's in tune. Buchholz wants to throw the baseball, and his catcher's not even paying attention to him. He's watching the argument going on. Listen, you talk about a delay.
Oh my. One thing, Terry could challenge the hit by pitch, but
the umpire already said it was hit by pitch, but the check with the first base umpire said he swung.
So I don't see there's anything in this argument that has anything to do with about a replay challenge. Terry's not happy about it.
No, that means Davis is going to be out. Well, and he'll have to go explain it to everybody else. So that's going to go as a strikeout. You know, the funny thing, does it look like he swings here? Let's check it out.
No way. That's not a swing.
See, that's what I think they were talking about right there.
First and foremost, there is no way that's a swing.
You can't check a check swing.
I don't think there's any challenge on it. No, there is no challenge on a check swing.
Right. So that's the thing. He was saying he probably didn't swing at the ball to begin with.
It's just a bad call.
Well, that's where Mills is explaining it to him. That's the guy that said he swung.
Which is a bad call.
Well, I know, but I mean, in essence, that's what he said would happen because Farrell came out of his dugout looking for a swing. Okay, so it goes as a strikeout.
At worst, what should have happened there is they should have sent him back to the plate and said it was a foul ball. But they said it hit him. And then the first base umpire said he swung. So
well, the home plate umpire said it hit him.
Yeah.
The first base umpire.
And the way Rajay reacted, I'm guessing it did.
Oh, it hit him. He wasn't faking that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 2 outs now.
That was a weird one. That took way too long.
Exactly. He doesn't want to throw Santana many strikes. We'll get to that 2-0 count, and then they throw Shaw over to the right side of the infield again.
Carlos hit one off the green monster his first time up. That was a thing of beauty. Walked in the third. And now takes another ball, 3-0.
Well, when he's trying to throw Carlos inside, if he misses, he doesn't want to miss out over the plate. So he's making sure he gets it in there, and he's just not hitting with it. Because Carlos took a fastball up and away off the monster that first time up, but then you've got danger on deck. You got Jason Fenway. There's a good pitch.
Only the 4th inning, but you see Buchholz over 70 pitches. And we'll see if the Indians can keep the heat on him with 2 outs here. Santana awaiting a 3-1 pitch. And that's ball 4. He has walked another. That's 4 in the ball game for Buchholz. It puts Uribe in the scoring position. And it brings up Jason Kipnis, who in his last at bat drilled one right down the line and just inside the pesky pole for a 3-run homer. His 6th career home run at Fenway Park.
The 4 walks tonight so far tie the season high for Buchholz, who did it April 28th against the Atlanta Braves. Walked Santana twice tonight. And Jason Kipnis with the big hit of the ball game for the Indians.
I like what you call him, Jason Fenway.
Yes.
Oh, what a block by Vasquez. Those are some of the tough ones to block for a catcher because once it hits the dirt, You're just hoping it hits and stops in the chest protector.
And you know, he looks like a short guy. He just moved over. He didn't get up and get on his hunches. He just kept it right down in front and held on to it. That really is a nice play. Those go unnoticed on the scorecard for sure.
On the line, but it's going to slice out of play. Maybe, and I say maybe 2 feet of foul territory down the left field line once the stands jut out.
Yeah, there's not much. Same thing down the right field line after a while. A lot of nooks and crannies and angles in this ballpark.
Here's the 1-1. I forget which announcer it was, but years ago he was talking about maybe Ebbets Field. And instead of nooks and crannies, he said crooks and nannies.
I'm surprised I didn't do that.
There's a lot of crooks and nannies out there in the out. People said, what did he say? The 2-1 to Kipnis, and it's hit high in the air to shallow left. In comes Swihart. And Buchholz gets out of trouble here in the 4th. Indians on top, 4-2. Jackie Bradley Jr. will lead off the bottom of the 4th when we come back. Up for Boston here. Our Levin player profile on Jackie Bradley Jr. Out of South Carolina, was the 1st round pick, 40th overall. Compensation pick. I don't know if anybody saw this coming.
40th overall. I'll tell you what, this guy is having some kind of special year to this point. He has that 25th number on his back. That's the hitting streak. 34 is the Red Sox longest hitting streak by Dom DiMaggio back in the 40s. You know, it's just that's one of the toughest things to do when you think about it, and I think more so now because you face so many different pitchers in a game to keep hitting streaks going. And this guy has done it at sort of the tail end of the lineup from 7th on down.
Yeah.
You know, he's been going at it for April, a solid 3.5 weeks, almost a month straight. That's pretty darn good.
Dom DiMaggio, I believe his nickname was the Professor. Okay, can you imagine being Joe DiMaggio's brother?
Yeah, not a lot of room for error, is there?
Hey, we got DiMaggio. Yeah, but it's Dom. It's not Joe. Oh.
Well, I mean, that happens with the brothers, the Boyer brothers. You had Kenny, Cletus, and there was a third brother.
The other Boyer.
Yeah, right.
There's a strike call.
The Perry brothers.
The Alomars, of course, we had in
sure.
Cleveland.
I mean, we can go and look at it, and there's always going to be one good one and one not as good.
And I mean, that's the thing. Don DiMaggio was a very good ball player. It's just that Joe was part of a Americana.
Yeah.
He was in songs. He's in literature.
How
It's
about
just
Hank and Tommy Aaron?
great.
You know,
one right
Willie
there.
and Tommy Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, you look through it. There's been some great brother tandems.
3-2 foul back. How about Cal and Billy Ripken?
Right. There you go. Right.
I mean, I think Billy's done a heck of a job making a nice career for himself, first as a player, now as an announcer. But holy mackerel, when you're Cal Ripken's brother,
Yeah.
how many times you suppose people said, "Hey, Cal"? No, I'm not Cal. I'm Billy. That's going to be fouled, but that's jolted deep down the left side.
Peyton and Rick Manning. I mean, it goes on.
Well, there was. I thought you were going to Walter and Eddie Payton. Okay, I think
we're done.
We've run this out.
Yeah, we're done.
3-2. And he walks it. Is there another famous knot we don't know about?
We're hiding him if so. Don't worry about that.
I'm not.
Yeah, he's sitting right next to you, man. You know, for Jackie Bradley Jr., as he's amidst this hit streak, you know, one of the things he said earlier in the season was that he was going to go back to being aggressive, hit the ball early in the count. If you guys remember, he had problems over the last couple of seasons, and he was trying to do what you guys talked about it earlier. He was trying to work pitchers and trying to hit the perfect pitch. He says, I'm going back to the kid I was in college.
Right.
First good ball I see, I'm going to hit it. And hit it hard, and he's done that so far this season.
Well, he certainly has. It was a second pitch he hit out of the ballpark from Kluber for a home run tonight. So these kids nowadays that are coming up, it's different than Moneyball, where they're trying to sit back and get that starter out of there. They're getting more aggressive.
When Sandy Alomar had his 30-game hit streak in 1997, it was without question the best year of his career in Major League Baseball. He was just magical. He was MVP of the All-Star game that year, had so many big hits off Mariano Rivera to win a playoff game. But, you know, you think, Rick, an extended hitting streak like that, when you get to 25, 30 games, that has to help you, not just in that period of time, but throughout the season, because you can probably go right back to it. What were the things you were doing well during that time? You know.
Well, pretty soon pitchers start pitching around you. You know, when you're getting to that point. Okay, this guy's hot. Okay, boom. Let's see if we'll get him to swing out of the strike zone. You can get yourself out a couple of times to stop that string. That's the tough thing about doing it day after day after day. You're going to have some luck involved.
Broke the bat. Uribe will go to second for one. Kipnis on to first. A double play.
Good pitch, well turned. Just what the doctor ordered. Shattered the bat of Vasquez. So they'll go around the horn. 5-4-3. Clear the bases.
But is that what keeps a hitting streak going? The fact that you don't get yourself out? The fact that you are just locked into in your own little zone?
You'll get a couple lucky hits. Like I said, for Bradley, 2 days ago they were in Kansas City. They played the doubleheader. In game one, he was down to his last at bat, and he was facing Wade Davis, the best reliever that we've seen in this league, and got a base hit to keep it alive between first and second. Little things like that, you know, when you see streaks go on. I saw Molitor's 39-game hitting streak and watched him go through that. There were about 3 or 4 games where I saw him bunt one time for a base hit, last at bat. You get down to that last at bat, and people are starting to talk about it. You start thinking about it, you know, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of times you can get yourself out. You don't want to take the walk. You want to try and get it going if you don't get that hit early in a game.
Well, and that's where Mike Pacta, he threw a number out at us. It blew me away today. Maybe you already had heard this before or aware of it, but I didn't realize it. Ted Williams, the longest hit streak he ever had was 23 games.
Okay. I can believe that.
But he had a major league record on base streak of 84 games in 1949.
Because he walked so many times.
Think about that, though. That's half the season.
Yes, it is. And
he's on base every single game for half the year.
That's because he had such a good eye at home plate, he would take the walks. You know what I mean? And that's why I can believe it was only 24, because they didn't want to pitch to him. And he would take the walk.
Yeah. 2-2.
Never had 200 hits in a season.
Kluber gets the double play ball and just kind of glides through the fourth inning. Indians leading it by a score of 4-2. Frankie Lindor will lead off the fifth. Coming up next. By Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. A gorgeous evening at Fenway Park in Boston on this, the 20th of May, 68 at game time. Indians leading in 4-2. Francisco Lindor has walked twice, he has stolen a base, and he has scored a run. And as per usual, he's played great defensively. He made a sensational play in that first inning. Actually, a couple of them when you think about it. The bare hand grab off the Kluber deflection, and then the play where he ran out into center field and over the shoulder ended the inning.
He's a treat to watch playing defense.
You know who's here just to watch him play tonight?
I have no idea.
Alex Cora.
Really?
I saw Alex before the ballgame. He said, I had to come. I had to see Lindor.
Okay, well, he's going to get an eyeful.
Alex doing some work in television. He's going to be calling some of the College World Series games. He's pretty excited about that. 2-1 pitch. His brother Joey is a Double-A manager in the Pirates system right now. And I think there's a shot we'll see Joey Cora and Sandy Alomar get opportunities to be a manager in the offseason.
Alex too. I mean, they're highly touted as far as.
Lindor drives one to deep right field, but back goes Betts, and he just glides under it.
That's a big ballpark out there in right field. You know, when you talk about Francisco Lindor, watch some of the slides where he pulls that right hand back and he gets in and he fools some of the defenders that are trying to tag him. You know, he got called out there and they get him overturned. This time that umpire did a great job to stay with it, and he got the hand in again. Pulls the right hand back.
Mike Napoli 0 for 2 on the night in his return to Fenway. Pulls out foul.
Yeah, he's had a couple of opportunities early in this game to drive in some runs, so he hasn't been able to do it. This is a game here, this ballpark, man. I've been in it so many times where, you know, you got a little lull into it now. It started off where Boston scored in the first 2. The Cleveland had a big inning. And then all of a sudden it can erupt again in a matter of no time.
Wow, broken bat, and the shortstop, Bogarts, went out and ran it down. 2 away.
Well, the barrelhead of that bat ended up where Bogarts started to go after the ball. Was right at the shortstop position. So he jams Mike Napoli, and they get it inside there. Good pitch. And that bat just split. Actually, it was the barrelhead. Look at it, he's still got the long piece. Wow. Firewood now.
They still shatter, but not nearly as much as they did several years ago.
No kidding.
We'd see 2 or 3 of those a game.
We'd see, yeah, well, it was getting to the point where it was barrels were flying past pitchers and players and into the seats. Different type of wood.
Here at Fenway with the new
netting
back screens, they've extended them all the way to the dugout.
Well, this is the part where that serious incident happened. And one reason why that netting is all up. Because the people are so close to the action. Yeah. It's an older ballpark. And foul balls and cracked bats and things just happen to fly into the seats. And if you're not paying attention, which you can't at all times, you get seriously injured.
Jose Ramirez taking a strike on a 3-0 pitch. He picked up the RBI on the nifty slide by Lindor in the 3rd. And he pops this one sky high, and it's going to be a quick inning for Buchholz. Indians go 1-2-3. Halfway through, Cleveland 4, Boston 2. Late at bottom of the 5th inning. And top of the order for the Red Sox. First time through, they touched Kluber for a couple of runs on 4 hits, including a home run by Jackie Bradley. Second time through, they had 1 hit, and he struck out a pair.
Well, after they came out, the Indians, and scored the 4, he's settled in nicely. Had the first 2 out in that 3rd inning, an error, and he pitched around that. He walked the leadoff man, got a double play ball, and got the out. Now you're going through that the lineup for the 3rd time. A stumble there.
In there for a strike. They count 1 and 2. Slowly chopped to first. Napoli. Long flip to Kluber, but it's right on the money. 1 down. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Jackie Bradley Jr. extended his hitting streak to 25 games with a leadoff solo homer in the 2nd, and it was 2-0 Boston, but the Indians roared back. In the 3rd, Jason Kipnis a 3-run jack. And then Francisco Lindor with some fancy sliding at the dish. Beat the tag to make it a 4-2 ball game, and that's the way it has stayed. No scoring since the 3rd.
Oh, a long way to go. We're going to have to, if you're the Indians, keep scoring.
And Dustin Pedroia looks at a strike. He swung at it, didn't mean to. Sometimes that's the way it goes, and Pedroia, a little gimpy getting back up. Might have twisted that ankle as he tried to get out of the way, huh? Oh, yeah, he's kind of awkwardly
yeah,
at it.
You go down. Yes, you're right. There was no give there to the knee. That is, you're right, the ankle. He says it's probably sore and he just wants to.
Yeah, the older you get, though, the ankles, the knees, they just don't bend as much as they
you
used
don't
to.
think so? Isn't that the truth?
He's pointing to the dirt, basically just saying my spike kind of got stuck in the dirt, couldn't dislodge it once you went down into that turn, but he's fine. You know, that's the other thing that's unique to Fenway Park. I can't think of another ballpark where when the hitters come to the plate, usually by the 2nd inning, the lines around the batter's box and the catcher's box, they're gone. They're obliterated because the hitters get in there and they dig them out. Can't do that here at Fenway. Those things are literally embedded into the ground. I mean, dirt gets on top of them, and they get a little bit.
Brush it off.
They're literally.
It's almost like it's wood.
Yeah. And a no-ball 2-strike count for Pedroia. Strike 3 called. Oh, Kluber just painted the outside edge for his 4th strikeout of the night, and there are 2 down here in the 5th. And it's time for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski. All right, thanks, Al. Xander Bogaerts 0 for 2 tonight. That's with the bases empty and 2 down here in the 5th inning. Royals White Sox are scoreless in the 2nd in Chicago. That's a big one to keep an eye on. Twins at home against Toronto, no score in the 2nd inning against Toronto. There was actually a story I read today kind of pontificating about would Paul Molitor just simply step down as Twins manager at some point this year.
I don't think so.
Fastball's hammered deep left field and high off the monster. And it's played by Davis, and into second base is Xander Bogaerts with a 2-out double. Bogaerts booming one.
Second double for the Sox tonight. That's their 5th hit, and there's one that inside, but boy, I don't know. He might have been looking in there. It was about on the inside edge, but with that monster out there, he cleared his way through. The baseball hit a long way. For Bogaerts, that'll be his 15th double.
Well, you got David Ortiz coming up, first base open. It's a 2-run game, and so Mickey Callaway just briefly going to go out and talk to Kluber about what do you want to do here. Hanley Ramirez waiting on deck. I gave you the numbers earlier. I mean, Ortiz has homered in 4 of his last 5 games against Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy you don't want to beat. You go at him very hard. If you make your perfect pitches, if you walk him, then you're going to have to deal with Ramirez. Now, Ramirez is not a shabby hitter either, but you know what? You can't give in and get too much of the plate with this guy, because one swing of the bat, then you could have a tie game.
A little bit low, ball 1. I've always looked at these situations, Rick, and I always wonder if this is somehow more difficult for a pitcher when basically the strategy is don't give him anything good to hit. To me, that's like saying, all right, talk for the next 30 seconds. Don't use the word the.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, that's all you can think about.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're saying, because it doesn't matter. If he gets a hit, it's going to be a bad pitch. Too good of a pitch, even if it's not. You're right. That is a tough way to go. But there he's inside. He swung at that pitch away last time, but he went way inside. That tells me that he wants to he wants to drive him in.
Yeah.
He's not being patient. He's not waiting for it. He wants to hit the ball, get a base hit. He wants to drive in a run. Now with 2 strikes, we'll see if he changes his approach. But he tried to hit one to left field and then pull one there. Stay in there. Don't give him any swinging room.
Kluber with a 1-2. Swung out and missed. Corey Kluber
pitch.
Strikes him out.
Great pitch.
Great pitch at a clutch moment. It's only the 5th inning, but anytime he's hit the dish, it could be trouble time at Fenway. Instead, it's still 4-2 Cleveland. Ball. Lost my sheet.
Oh.
It's taped up on the wall in front of my face. It's that sheet over there. Chris Sale, unbelievable. I mean, 9-0 in 9 starts.
Yeah, he's
with an ERA of 158.
You know, he gets it now. He's not trying to strike guys out. He's, you know, getting pitches, some outs on 3 pitches or less, staying around. He's really he notched it down in the miles per hour.
I mean, he's equaled Sal Maglia in 1952. That predates Koufax, Gibson, Drysdale, that golden era in the 1960s even.
Yeah, Sal Barber was a pitching coach here in Boston from Niagara Falls, New York.
That's right. I forgot about that, yeah.
Yes, he was, Sal Barber.
Yan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, Juan Uribe for the Tribe here in the 6th. And it's smoked to left field. That's going to head to the corner. And Gomes going to turn, and he's going to have to hurry, and he will get in there.
There you go.
With a leadoff double.
Second time tonight they've had a leadoff double. They also had a leadoff single back in the 3rd. So Gomes gets one down into the corner, will hustle his way into second. It'll be his 6th double, and I'm sure that bullpen will be up and throwing soon here for Boston if they aren't already.
Well, you always think of Yan as such a good low ball hitter. That pitch was up, and he still got out, got the barrel head to it, and really thumped it hard. Well, now Lonnie Chisenhall, 0 for 2 on the night. Vasquez out the.
Well, right there, that's like a stall tactic. That's to let their bullpen get up and get loose. And that's coming from over at the bench.
They're firing in a hurry.
We'll see. Barnes is up.
He was thinking about a bunt, and Vasquez wanted to try and throw down to second, but he was trying to throw before he had the ball.
Look, you don't want to give up an out here in this situation. You have a 2-run lead. Swing the bat. You're a left-handed hitter. Pull the ball and try to find the hole. You don't give out outs in Fenway Park unless you absolutely have to. This is not a situation where you have to.
Makes the third baseman field it, and Shaw throws him out. All right, now explain, why don't you like to give up an out in Fenway Park, especially when you have the lead?
Because Lonnie can pull the ball. You're facing Buchholz. I mean, he can't throw it by you.
Because no lead is
you
safe.
Have right. I mean, you don't want to give up an out. You've got a 2-run lead. You're in the 6th inning. Try and get a base hit, or at least pull the ball on the ground. I don't want to give up an out there. I would rather try to get a base hit and add to the lead.
Well, the Red Sox forced to bring the infield in, and Juan Uribe has hit the ball hard twice tonight. Last time up, he singled to center field. This time he pops it up on the infield.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Pedroia squeezes it, 2 down. So that's going to leave it up to Rajay Davis. And then that's another thing, too, in Fenway Park, where every run counts. You don't want to not execute when you get a chance.
You know, and that's just my take on it. You know, little ball, okay, everything's fine. But this is a different ballpark than most ballparks. You know, these guys you're facing, this is the first and second best offenses in the game as far as scoring runs.
Oh, nice play by Bogart. Stayed with a tricky hop, throws him out, and the Red Sox dodge a big bullet here in the 6th. But the Indians still lead it 4-2.
savings and access to Tribe Rewards. Today's Tribe Rewards TV code is Kluber. Just go to Indians.com, season tickets for complete details.
Bottom of the 6th inning at Fenway. Hanley Ramirez, Travis Shaw, and Jackie Bradley due up for Boston. Hanley Ramirez singled in the first, reached on an error in the 3rd inning. This guy can hit some vicious line drives.
Yeah, he's a very good hitter, and he went after, I'll tell you, he went after and got Ortiz out in that inning after the 2-out double by Bogaerts. It was a really big out because you didn't want this guy coming to the plate.
Popped him up.
And that's going to stay in play.
Napoli at first base in foul ground. And there's quickly one out here in the 6th. Let's go down to Andre. There's more on the Red Sox pregame festivities here today.
Very fun pregame festivities today as Jason Varitek, as well as knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, went into the Hall of Fame for the Red Sox. And then talking to Terry Francona tonight about Varitek and what he meant to those Red Sox teams. Said the first talk he had with Yan Gomes, he says, hey, look, I'm not saying you have to be Jason Varitek, but he was dependable and he was our leader. And he goes, and that's the type of catcher I need. And he says as the years have passed, Yan Gomes slowly but surely is starting to remind him of the things that Varitek was able to do for those Red Sox teams, for his ball clubs.
Well, you're right, Andre. There was no doubt. I mean, Varitek, I think he had the C on the jersey.
Yeah, he did.
He
was
the leader.
Yes, he was.
In that clubhouse and on the field.
Well, the running joke was that no one could ever make Varitek smile. That's what David Ortiz kept saying last night. And we told Tito that, and he goes, well, Yan smiles, but not very often.
You know, the funny thing is that Varitek couldn't catch Tim Wakefield. That was the irony of those two getting inducted into the Hall of Fame together.
That's true.
They had to get somebody else to catch the knuckleball.
I'm trying to think of who the guy that was here that always caught him.
He went out and traded for him a 2nd time to get him back.
Yes. Was it Mirabelli?
I think it was, yes. Doug Mirabelli. I think that's a good call right there. Travis Shaw down on strikes. That's a half a dozen Ks now for Kluber.
Yes, it certainly is.
That's not so unusual, though. I mean, if the Indians had a knuckleballer, I don't know that they'd want Yan Gomes catching it. You know, sometimes a knuckleballer can be problematic, not only for hitters, but for the guy behind the plate. So here's Jackie Bradley.
Knuckleballers screw up everything. Catchers, hitters, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a weird thing. It's like a Friday the 13th. You know, strange things happen when knuckleballers are on the mound.
And they're so rare nowadays to think that Boston has another one.
Yeah. Well, the Indians had them.
I know. Bradley swings and misses, and it's 1-1. Borderline pitch, a little high. 2-1.
Nice pitch. Excellent pitch down and away. He can keep the next one there too.
This could be the last inning for Kluber.
You know, it's interesting. If he can get out of here right here before 100, I think they send him back out.
I would tend to agree with that.
Because that 7th inning is really a touchy inning here with this ball club. You know, where unless you're going to extend Shaw or Allen, but we'll see. He's got to get an out here. There you go.
Napoli will take it himself. And Corey Kluber retires the side in order. Through 6, it's Cleveland 4, Boston 2. Baseball is brought to you by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. Time for the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen as Tommy Lane is called upon for Boston. Tuesday night against Kansas City, he worked a season-high inning in the third, struck out a couple.
Well, right-handers, he's been very good against, 2 for 14. Left-handers are hitting better. They're 5 for 21. That's 238 average compared to 143 to the right-handers. So it's Santana, Kipnis, and then Lindor from the right side.
Santana with a double. He's walked twice and scored a run.
Yeah, Clay Buchholz didn't want to throw Santana a strike after he doubled off the wall to lead the game off. Well, and I think Kluber's going to be back out there again.
Yeah, the bullpen's quiet.
It's been quiet.
Nobody even moving down there in the tri-pen.
Got 8-9-1 coming up in the bottom half of this inning, but offensively, let's go. You're at the top of your lineup now for the 4th time. Let's see if they can push another one across. Good time to score in the 7th inning.
Now the 2-2. Santana fouling it off. Carlos with 2 booming home runs last night in Cincinnati. But against left-handed pitching this year, ouch. Santana just 6 for 36. Without a home run.
Tough to maintain strokes from both sides of the plate.
Grounded to third baseman Travis Shaw. 1 away. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can now stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download it, take Sports Time Ohio and Indians baseball with you wherever you go. It'll bring up Jason Kipnis for the lefty-lefty matchup.
send along a birthday wish tonight. A very happy birthday to Mary Jo Asink. Big Indians fan. Mary Jo, happy birthday to you.
And foul right back. And that runs the count to 1-1. Foul by Jason Kipnis. He falls behind in the count 1-2. And Jason back up the gut. It got a piece of the pitcher, and then Bogaerts tried to barehand it, couldn't come up with it. And it will be a 1-out single for Kipnis.
Yeah, the only chance Bogaerts had was a barehanded play, and it had spin on it after Lane knocked it down. I think if he doesn't touch it, they were playing him up the middle, but it goes off the end of his glove. And then it's a barehand try, and it's a do or die play, and Kipnis gets the single. And out comes John Farrell, and in comes Matt Barnes.
Now that's probably because Lindor's batting .417 against left-handed pitching this year. And
That's right.
John saying we're not going to play with fire. We're going to go the other way. So we've got a timeout with 1 on 1 out here in the 7th inning, and the Indians up a pair. Pitched a scoreless 6th inning Tuesday night in Kansas City. He has stranded 11 of 12 inherited runners on the year. And he's got one at first base with 1 out in the 7th, and Francisco Lindor at the plate.
Barnes appeared in 1 game back in Cleveland when Boston was there to open up the season, when an inning and 2/3 gave up a hit.
Fifth inning in Chicago. White Sox lead the Royals 1-0.
Well, they had a 1-0 game going for 8 innings last night.
In Detroit, Kevin Kiermaier didn't hit a home run, but with the bases loaded, he did hit a triple. Tigers have come back to add a run. It's 6-4 Tampa as they go to the 7th in Detroit. Two and 0 the count on Francisco Lindor.
Nice.
And there's a base hit in the left field for Lindor.
Swing.
Kipnis will stop at second base, and the Indians have 2 on with a while.
Yeah, stay inside the baseball. Nice little single right there. You got 2 on now and a chance to add to a 2-run lead. Got a fastball pretty much center cut. Takes it to left field.
Four-2 Cleveland trying to add to their lead as Mike Napoli steps in 0 for 3 on the night. Boy, this would be a great spot for Nap to deliver in his return to Fenway. You get a lot of handshaking and a lot of hugs before the ball game. Still a number of the Red Sox players here from when he played. It was just a year ago.
Well, yeah, you play here, you win a World Series here, you're going to have a lot of friends here. Think about it.
It tends to immortalize you, at least in the eyes of that fan base.
No question.
They remember everybody on the team.
Same thing will happen in Cleveland. If you ever get to the World Series, you win it. Boy, oh boy, well, you don't forget it.
Napoli drives one to left field, coming on, and Swihart makes a fine catch. The outfielder converted from a catcher. Had a nice play on a ball that wasn't as easy as he made it look, I don't think.
Well, that ball got in on Napoli. It didn't have any carry to it. So he just had to keep running in. That ball got inside on Mike a little bit. They get the second out. Now we'll see if Ramirez can pick him up.
Well, Jose Ramirez, as hot as he was there for a while, he is suddenly gone ice cold. 0 for his last 9 at the plate. Now, when he's got runners in scoring position, he's been very good this year, though he did pop up his first time up. Got a sac fly in the 3rd in that same situation. And a little jam job up the middle. That'll end the inning. Couple of hits, but the Indians strand them both. Stretch time at Fenway. Indians lead it by a pair. in the American League. The Indians with 4 runs all in the 3rd inning, and Corey Kluber has made it stand up after he allowed a run in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. Since then, he has given up 1 hit and has struck out 6 Red Sox batters on the night. The number 8 hitter Christian Vasquez will lead it off. Then it's Blake Swihart, followed by Mookie Betts. The Cleveland bullpen is quiet, no action whatsoever as Kluber hits the 100 pitch mark on the night. Vasquez 0 for 2, has struck out, hit into a double play, and he fouls this one off down the right side. Chop to third. Uribe smothers it nicely and throws him out 1 away. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Corey Kluber gave up a home run to Jackie Bradley leading off the 2nd inning, and just like that it was 2-0, and that ball was clobbered to straightaway center field.
It sure was. Got too much of the plate, but boy, has he settled in nicely. Indians come back and put a 4 spot on the board, and that slider and the cutter and everything has been working very well, making some quality pitches, and now in a groove.
And now some stirring in the Cleveland bullpen as Blake Swihart 0 for 2 on the night stands in. Takes ball 1 outside. If you missed it earlier, Swihart went back to AAA Pawtucket not to catch. He did do some catching, but primarily they sent him back there to work on playing the outfield, in which he said, look, I played outfield when I was younger, so it really didn't take that long for those outfielder instincts to sort of kick back in again. He said, I found myself immediately going to back up bases and doing what I was supposed to be doing.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather play the outfield than catch it anyway. Yeah, it's a much easier place to be. I don't have to put those tools on and go get beat up. You remember it in a hurry.
Tid out top of the order as Brian Shaw begins to get loose. Mookie Betts is 2 out of 3 on the night. He doubled and scored in the 1st, singled in the 2nd, rounded out to the first baseman Mike Napoli his last time up.
Oh, beautiful.
Kluber will take
beautiful.
it himself. No, well, yeah, he will.
He didn't want to.
Corey Kluber with 7 strong innings of work at Fenway Park here tonight, and the Indians lead it 4-2. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. That last play you saw there could loom very large as we go down the stretch here with the Indians clinging to a 4-2 lead. And with that, Corey Kluber is usually money in the bank. They've won 32 straight when they score 4 or more with him on the mound. Yan Gomes doubled in the 6th inning, but the Indians couldn't get him home, and that was a key moment in that game because he doubled, and then Ronnie Chisenhall sacrificed him to third. Uribe popped up, Davis grounded out to end the inning.
Yeah, and the last 2 outs came in a hurry. You know, you talk about all these offense, or all the offense was the talk before the game between the Red Sox and the Indians. The way they've both been playing, and it's been pretty darn good pitching tonight to this point. The difference is the big 3-run home run that Jason Kipnis hit in the 3rd.
Two balls and a strike for Yan Gomes. Here's one of the more odd pitching lines I've heard in a while. Garrett Cole started for the Pirates tonight against Colorado. He went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 10 hits. He walked 1, did not strike out a batter, but he's in line for the win.
That's in Pittsburgh.
2-1.
Okay, that's not in Colorado. I got you.
But still giving up 10 hits and only
And
1 run.
The 1 run was a home run by Arenado.
And he walked 1, but didn't strike anybody out with his arm. That's pretty amazing. That probably speaks to just how good a hitting team Colorado is.
Yeah, it is. They can swing the bats. No, it's just not getting a hit when you need it.
Gomes sends a long fly ball to right fielder. Betts makes the play on it, going down. There's a lot of low-scoring, close games around baseball tonight. This one obviously at 4-2, but you look at the White Sox lead the Royals 1-0. They're in the 5th. Toronto over Minnesota 2-1 in the 5th. 2-0 Texas over Houston in the 5th inning. Told you about the Pirates game. There's also a 2-1 Arizona St. Louis game in the 5th inning. Mets lead the Brewers 3-2. They're in the 8th. Lonnie Chisenhall 0 for 2. Held high fastball for a strike. A little bit high, lays off that time. And with good cause, it's 2-1. Andre. Woo.
Not close enough to him. He's not that quick to get it either.
You're salty tonight.
No, I'm looking at. I can see he can hear us down there. He's just.
Lonnie awaiting the 2-2 from Matt Barnes. One out here in the 8th inning. And so now the count is full as the sellout crowd at Fenway does the wave to amuse themselves.
Yeah, they've been bored. They're used to seeing runs scored.
Well, Corey Kluber has kept them on their hands.
That's a good thing.
Wilson. Fourth walk of the night for the Indians as a team. Hey, tomorrow the world's best drivers compete in a winner-take-all fight for $1 million in the NASCAR Sprint Cup All-Star Race at 8:30 Eastern, only on FS1, or watch it on Fox Sports Go. $1 million, winner-take-all, huh?
That's nice, huh? I like that.
Uribe swings at the first pitch and pops it to center. Bradley makes the catch, 2 down. Rajai Davis 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Rajai with 10 hits over his last 5 games.
This may be worth a gamble of trying to steal a base here in this situation with 2 outs to get in the scoring position for Rajai.
Yeah, he's been very good with runners in scoring position.
She doesn't hold that much of a lead, but I think Boston's thinking along the same lines.
Well, you know, you've got the lead. It's a chance where
Well,
you can.
you know, and you don't like to make outs, but in this situation here, it's worth a try, especially if he really falls behind. You protect him because you have 1 more inning left. If you get thrown out, he can come up and lead off. There you go. See if it happens. There you go. Now he's in scoring position. Worth the try. So I like the aggressiveness right there. Very good. You know, you got to try and make something happen at times, and you have to do it when you have the lead. And it's the perfect time when you've got your 9th hitter up who can run. And if you're thrown out, then he's going to lead off the next inning anyway, and he's hitting in front of Santana. Was that close? You think he tied him?
No, he was safe, but it was very close to getting that back leg. You know, sometimes guys go head first, Rick. Like you watch Lindor, and literally the first thing that hits is their hands, arms, chest.
Right. Slows it down.
Lonnie slid head first, but he kind of went down with his knee. His left knee kind of hit first. Might have almost slowed him up too quickly. 2-1 pitch. And Rajai pops it up. The shortstop Bogarts is under it and makes the catch. And we'll move on to the bottom of the 8th. Ryan Shaw will be coming on for the Indians, trying to protect a 2-run lead. 8th inning. Corey Kluber went 7. Gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, 1-2, struck out 6. He'll give way now to Brian Shaw, making his 20th appearance on the year. And Shaw will have Pedroia, Bogarts, and Ortiz to deal with. Dustin Pedroia laid down a sacrifice bunt his first time up. Since then, has flat out struck out. There may have been a few foolish folks that wrote off Dustin Pedroia after an injury-plagued season a year ago. He only played in 93 games. But he has come back with a vengeance. You know, you talk about the consistency of a hitter. And you look at Pedroia, 317, 326, 296, 288, 307, 290, 301. Yeah. He's never had that, oh, he only hit 250 this year, 260. That's,
you know, not a very big guy, loves a high fastball. He's a gamer. I mean, he's a really intense guy, and you know, he means a lot to this ball club and always has. And
when you have a guy that produces like that year in, year out consistently, you can understand why he becomes a manager's favorite. He was definitely one of Terry Francona's favorites. The 1-2 pitch. It's also why Terry called Pedroia when the Indians were interested in Mike Napoli. He wanted to get Pedroia's insight, and Pedroia gave him a glowing report. They lockered next to each other when Napoli was here in Boston.
Well, yeah, they showed on the board tonight when Napoli went deep in Boston. They ended up rubbing heads, and they both had no hair.
The 2-2. Oh, didn't miss by much. A tad too tall. On this pitch to Pedroia. And now Shaw with a 3-2. And a chopper to third. It gets off the glove of Uribe. And now the Red Sox have life. That's the last thing you want to see happen late in the game against this team, is to give them any kind of a break.
Well, it was a play right there. It's their first hit in a long time where it's a hopper where Uribe had to get over there, and if he fields it, he's going to have to get up quickly and throw him out. It's just right out of his reach. That ball hit and it went off the end of his glove. So they get their leadoff man aboard here in the 8th.
They give him a base hit.
Oh yeah, that was a base hit.
And Xander Bogaerts, 1 out of 3 on the night, is now at the plate.
Brian could get a ground ball at one of his infielders and turn it.
He's fallen behind 2-0. Miguel Cabrera has hit his second home run of the night for Detroit. Tigers pulled to within a run of Tampa Bay, 6-5. They're in the 8th in Detroit.
Good pitch. Good pitch. That cutter under fastball right on the inside edge. You lift your hands up and it had a little run to it. You watch where Gomes is sitting. See that ball run. That's a nice little running fastball. That's just had some movement to it going in.
David Ortiz waiting on deck. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. And it evens the count. Chop to first.
Got him.
Napoli
Got
goes
him.
to second. There's one back to first. Shaw can't get there in time.
It's all right. Netting in front.
The ball stays in play, so Bogart's at first on the fielder's choice.
Tough play for the shortstop to lead the pitcher to first base there. And that's exactly what happened. Napoli was off the base so much, and it was a double play ball. But as that pitcher, you've really got to get over there in a hurry. And you can see you had to lead him to the point, and you can't. And
Shaw had no chance.
No,
on that ball
he
either.
couldn't have caught the ball. He was over there, but you see, he wasn't at the base. And it's just a tough timing play. But the good thing, the netting's in front of the dugouts. It comes out no harm. They get the lead runner, so there is one out. Just a tough play all the way around.
David Ortiz to the plate. And a little bit outside, ball one. Ortiz walked in the first, then struck out in the third and in the fifth against Corey Kluber.
Yeah, that last strikeout in the fifth was a big strikeout.
Down in, he misses 2-0. Chop to Kipnis. We'll go to Uribe for one. He can take all day to throw it back to first. It's an inning-ending double play as Ortiz beats it into the shift. And the Indians turn two to end the eighth.
I'm going to say Shaw because the deeper you get into the game with the run around, he could have tied it. Yeah, I'm going to say that double play just happened.
Carlos Santana leading off here in the ninth inning for the Indians. Santana 1 out of 2. He doubled in the first. He has walked twice and scored a run. Robbie Ross into the ball game for Boston, left-hander. Ross making his 13th appearance on the year. He's walked 6, struck out 19 in 16 innings of work. You got Jason Kipnis, then Francisco Lindor here in the ninth for Cleveland. And Santana swings, and did he get him on the backswing? I think he did, huh?
Well, he has a tendency like that sometimes with that extension. He got a little piece of the ball, but I wasn't sure if the ball got him or it was a follow through.
High fastball struck him out. Looking back at our keys to the game, courtesy of Mazda. Offense for the Indians, new opponent, same results. Well, not quite, but what we did see, very similar to what we saw in the Cincinnati series, was the big inning.
Yeah, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Home run ball, 3-run homer from Kipnis. To me, that goes a long way because it erased a 2-0 lead. And anytime you're down, you know, this is a Red Sox club that have outscored their opponents 45-15 in the first inning. They got one on the board tonight. They play well when they get the lead, and the Indians were able to take it back early enough to take some aggressiveness away. And Kluber just stayed right where he was. Very, very good after they got the 4.
Biggest at bat of the night was the Jason Kipnis 3-run homer.
Jason Fenway. It's his 6th homer here, correct?
Yeah, you guys could talk all you want about the bigger at bat about Ortiz. That was the biggest at bat of the game.
Yeah, no question.
And look, with Michael Brantley still out, this isn't a lineup that can lean on any one person. It was nice to see Rajai Davis get hot and carry him for a few games, but Kipnis is going to have to do his share. You know, Lindor is going to be in the mix.
Everybody has to do their
They're
share.
going to need Napoli to get some big hits.
Right. I mean, you're at that 4-run mark. That's, if you win 4-2, 4-3 in this ballpark, you get a great pitch game. You know, but you always try and at least get 5 runs in this ballpark.
Kipnis rolls it to short, and Bogarts takes care of that. 2 away here in the top half of the 9th inning. Cody Allen heating up in the Indians bullpen. He's got Hanley Ramirez, Travis Shaw, and Jackie Bradley due up for Boston in the bottom of the 9th inning.
There's one guy that keeps his swing from each side of the plate on target.
Lindor with a base hit in the 7th inning. He's walked twice and scored a
Look
run,
at
and he's
that.
got another hit.
He loves to face left-handed pitching because Lindor on the year now. That's 21 out of 49. That's about over 420. So he continues to hit from that side of the plate very well. That base hit between short and third. That is 8 hits now for the Indians. And again, Lindor has a couple. Walked twice.
Mike Napoli is 0 for 4 on the night. Rick, just did a quick check here, and there have been 5 games at Fenway Park this year in which the winning team scored 4 runs or fewer. And Boston is 3-2 in those affairs. They've won 3 times. They've beaten the team 4-2. They've lost 4-3 and 3-0.
Yeah, they're rare when you come into this ballpark, and I'm sure a couple of them happened early in the year when the weather wasn't too good.
Well, to your point, 4 of the 5 were in April.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Their first homestand.
That's usually how it goes. You know, you're playing over here off the water and it gets damp and it's tough to hit a ball.
Joe Kelly beat Ubaldo in Baltimore 4-2. David Price beat Toronto 4-2 over Estrada, and then Jay Happ got Koji O'Hara 4-3 in the decision here.
Well, the thing, when you look at the Red Sox, you talk about their offense. In their last 9 home games, they've averaged 6 or more runs. They've averaged over 11 hits a ball game. They've been very good here. So to look at those numbers, they have 2 and 6 on the board now, 2 runs, 6 hits. The Indians pitching has done a tremendous job.
Fastball way outside from Robbie Ross. It's 2-2. He doesn't want to come inside to Napoli here. If he does, he wants to elevate it.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to elevate it. You can't have one swing and 2 runs. He's got to put a 0 on the board and try and get his team back in. But once again, Napoli down 0-2, and it's to a 3-2 count. And manager John Farrell, he wants that 3rd out and wants his offense in there. Indians are trying to keep it rolling. I'd love to add on here with 2.
Lindor off on the 3-2 pitch. He wasn't. And it doesn't matter as Napoli strikes out. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th in Cleveland. Cody Allen will try to close out a 4-2 Indians lead. Bottom of the 9th inning, and it's Cody Allen time. But first, the Pat O'Brien play of the game. I didn't vote.
Well, it doesn't matter whether you vote. Anytime you get this guy out, it's a big out in the game, especially when runners are on base, and Kluber did just that. And then you get the double play ball. You know, late in the game, this is the guy that, you know, in his past, the heroics, that's just a big, nice double play ball. You turn it over, so there's his hold. You turn it over to your closer. Let's go. You need 3 more outs, and it'd be a nice way to start your weekend in Fenway Park with a win.
Here's Cody Allen now looking for his 10th save in 10 tries. He's got Hanley Ramirez to lead it off. 1 for 3 on the night. Outfield straight away. Infield pretty much straight up. Right side plays him up the middle. And a foul back.
Well, that's what you want. You want that first man out. A big time every inning, because you get a man aboard and you bring that tying run to the plate. Strike 1, first out. This is a ballpark where you just never feel, you know, like you're in control. You're always, you know, you're always just jittery. Good pitch. I don't know why Gomes didn't catch that ball. It was
He's
perfect.
probably wondering the same thing himself. Once in a while, you either get crossed up, just don't get a good look at it.
Yeah, that wasn't a cross-up. That was just a plank. Well, it's something upstairs.
A little wide of the mark. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Well, those home run hitting Tampa Bay Rays have done it again. Steve Pearce goes deep. 7-5 Tampa over Detroit in the 8th.
It's amazing. And they've got 2 home runs on the night, correct?
Yeah.
Souza Jr. and Pearce.
And a 1-2 low and away. Royals scored 3 times on Chicago. They lead the White Sox 3-1 after 6 innings in Chicago. From 0-2 to 2-2.
Nice.
And a swing and a miss.
Did he get a piece of that? He's
No,
out.
he didn't touch that ball.
Okay, I didn't know. He was standing up there. He fooled me, but he was locked up on that breaking ball.
I think he looked back and saw Gomes drop it and think maybe I can catch a break here.
That's why I thought so. It didn't look like it, but it comes right. I don't know what's wrong with the glove there. That one comes right out. He didn't touch it. It pops out, but he gets the first out.
So with 1 down, Travis Shaw to the plate, 0 for 3 on the night. A little off-speed pitch gets over for a strike.
It's a great first pitch strike, curveball.
And he straightens him up with that 95-mile-an-hour heater. Just inside. 2-1.
Good pitch. Heater down at the knees inside. That's a very good 2-1 pitch. It was close.
And now the 2-2. Almost chased. He did, says home plate umpire Chad Fairchild. And there are 2 down in the 9th.
That was the breaking ball. And that started out low, but I mean, you get aggressive and you can see it. He just threw a good fastball. That was way out in front of the plate. Shaw is a left-hander. Normally you don't see that, but he certainly did. Went way too far, and they get back-to-back strikeouts. 1 more to go for Cody.
Jackie Bradley, the batter, he homered in the 2nd inning. Since then, he's walked and grounded out. His hitting streak now at 25 games. You know, I was thinking, Rick, about that 2-1 pitch. As a hitter, 2-1, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm looking for something I can hammer. And he throws a perfect pitch.
I know.
I don't even get a chance to swing at it.
Exactly.
And that really has to be self-defeating in your mind as a hitter.
You see what he swung at the last pitch.
Right.
You're right. You're looking for something elevated to try and hit a little harder. Good pitch. He's got both the fastball, curveball working tonight.
And he's got Boston down to their last strike. Just missed inside.
I like it, though. Get him out of the toe hold. This guy's been feeling very comfortable in the batter's box for the last 3.5 weeks.
Almost chased after it, but held up. tomorrow it's game 2 of this series, and don't forget it's a 4 o'clock first pitch. Alan Jensen start the day at 3:30 with Indians Live. It's all right here on Sports Time Ohio as Trevor Bauer will go for the Indians. Now Cody rocks into the lineup in the 2-2. An emergency swing, fights it off. Two pitch. Ooh, so very close. And a full count. And boy, that could change the complexion of this game in a hurry.
Well, you don't want to walk him. You got to go up there, make him hit his way on. That pitch just missed on the outside edge. Breaking ball off the plate. Didn't come in. It was a ball. Now you have to throw him a strike.
Instead, it's ball 4. And now it looks like a pinch hitter for the catcher Christian Vasquez. We'll get Marco Hernandez coming to the plate, representing the tying run now. Cody Allen struck out the first 2 here in the 9th in the bottom half. And then on a 3-2 pitch, it was close. It looked like he had Bradley Jr. maybe struck out on the 2-2 pitch, didn't get the call. And so we walked him on the 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. He didn't want to give him much to hit, but in that situation with a 2-run lead, you want to make him hit his way on instead of just giving a free pass. But he didn't, so he's going to have to come over. Hernandez only 4 at bats. So his first pinch hit, let me see. No, he's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter.
And it's inside ball 1. Marco Hernandez up with the big league club for the 3rd time already this year. He was just called back on Monday. There's a strike called as the runner Bradley goes down to second base, but no steal on the indifference.
Well, the outfield, they're still playing deep. You're not concerned about the guy on a base hit. You get the ball right into second base. If he should reach, that's what you're concerned about, the tying run at the dish.
Chased one, and now it's a 1-2 strike.
Combs did a beautiful job there to keep that ball. That was a curveball out in front. Cody's been beating him up back there tonight, and he was able to keep it and hug that ball into his chest protector. All right, again, they're down to 1 strike away.
Cody Allen takes a long look in. Just a bit high. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the ball game. And the Indians win it by a final score of 4-2 as they run their win streak to 5 in a row and a new high water mark for the season at 22-17. Corey Kluber gets the win, his third of the year, and Cody Allen a perfect 10 for 10 in save situations this year, as the Indians also maintain a